artist friends. Today we're going to be making a sea turtle. So very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my shell. I'm just going to put kind of a curved line kind of right in the middle. And then I'm going to curve it down to the corner. So it kind of looks like almost like an Easter egg. It's going to be wider up at the top and a little bit smaller at the corner. Then I'm just going to put my head. I'm going to do kind of two lines sticking out, and then I'm going to come out and around, and there's my head. I'm going to add an eye over here and an eye over here. That's a little too square. Okay. And then for my arms, I'm just going to come out of my shell, and I just kind of do a slight curve, and I'm going to do another line down below it, and it's going to start off close, but then it's going to get big. So it starts off close and then it takes a dive. So over here, I'm going to make one curved line, then I'm going to start close, and then it's going to get big. Okay, those are my fins. So now that we have the basic turtle done, now I'm going to start working on my background. So I'm going to take my oil pastels. If you have crayons, you can do this. If you have colored pencils, you can do this. And I am just going to start making some circles. So there's one. I'm trying to use blues and greens, colors I would see in the ocean. Whites would be a great color to use. Just any of those. Here's a white, here's a blue. So I'm just going to take different colors, maybe different sizes. Maybe I want to use the back end of this one. So there's one. I'm just going to make a few of these around my seahorse, not my seahorse, my sea turtle. And I can even put it right on my fin, but start where my pencil line is and then go to my other pencil line and stop there. So you can see half of a kind of bubble, but not a full one, because the turtle is there. So I'm just adding some bubbles. I can go halfway on the paper, halfway off the paper. I want to just kind of create different circles. Okay, so I think I've got enough there. Now that I've got those circles on, I'm going to start coloring my sea turtle. Now, all of this back here is going to be blues and greens, so we don't want to use a lot of those colors for our sea turtle. We kind of want it to be realistic in shape, but we're going to go a little brighter with our colors. These normally would not be the colors you would use, but we're going to use some brighter colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with some of these fluorescent colors, and if you don't have fluorescents, you can use other colors. So if I had other colors, I might use make this red, or I might make this orange, or something really bright like a yellow. But I wouldn't choose blue because you've got so much blue going on in the background. So I would wait on the blues. You could do greens if you wanted to. Just don't use as many greens in the background. And so I'm going to use the same color on this side because it is a symmetrical creature. So I'm going to color the same color, and normally the head is also the same color, so I'm going to use this one color in 3 places. I'm going to use it on the arms, I'm going to use it on the head. There's my head and my flippers, so I'm going to just do a tap 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 to get any of that extra oil pastel. Sometimes you'll see little crumbs on there. You can brush those off. Because we don't want those getting on our brush later. Okay, so now I'm going to work on my shell. And my shell, I'm going to use a variety of colors. But before I do my shell, I'm going to do just a couple of things. First, I'm going to draw a little line kind of on the inside of my shell. That's going to be for my kind of my pattern. So I'm going to add some lines going around. Next, I'm going to pick my colors. I want something that's going to look good with this, next to this, and also good with the colors. So keep in mind, this is going to be, oops, the color, the main color of your shell. So once I've got that, I'm going to go into the middle here, and I'm going to make some hexagons. So I'm going to make a line here, and this is going to kind of match this line and this line. It's going to go in the same direction. Okay, so wherever this line is going to go in that same direction. Then I'm going to go down, down, and I want to make these pretty big. I don't want little tiny hexagons. Then I'm going to go diagonal, straight line, diagonal. Okay, and then I'm going to do one more of those. I'm going to go out from here. I'm going to go out, out, in, straight line. Okay, now normally there's one more, but I'm gonna just kind of keep it just with the two. Then I'm going to bring every corner. You see those corners? I'm going to bring a line out. Here's a corner. Here's a corner, but it's inside, so I'm going to bring it out. Here's a corner. 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 This one I'm not going to do. Only the ones that are, not the inside ones, but the ones that are out. Okay, so there's my shell. And then I can start adding some color. So I'm gonna just take my orange and I'm gonna color in my shell. All right, so now that I have that, I'm gonna do kind of two colors. I'm gonna kind of come up from the edge and I'm gonna do this orange all the way around. And as you can see, I'm kind of going around, up and down, kind of going in and out of that shell, all the way around to the bottom. And there's a reason why I do this, because in just a minute, I am going to add another color here. And I want it to have some texture, so I'm kind of going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So then I'm going to add another color. I'm going to add this darker orange, I think. So now I'm going to kind of go back and forth. I'm still going back and forth into that space. And it's going to give me kind of a pattern on my shell. So I'm going back and forth, back and forth. You want to fill in any of those spaces. Back and forth, back and forth, and then back and forth here. And then I want to go back to the, okay, and then, so now I just have my two hexagons in the middle. And so this is where it gets kind of fun. So I'm going to take my orange, the color I used on the outside, and I'm going to start right in the middle of my hexagon. And I'm going to put a dot, and and I'm going to just go around that dot. So I'm going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm always coming back into that dot that I started with. And I'm just going back and forth all the way around. I'm going to do the same thing here. Start with a dot, go back and forth, draw those lines out like a star, and then go back and forth and do it all the way around. Then once you have that, you're going to take this and you're going to go back and forth all the way around, but you're going to start on the outside. And you're going to have those blending in together. Okay. So there's that. And I might even take that color one more time and just add some to the background here. If there's any white spots, go back and forth and blend it together. If you have any white spots, just take that orange, blend it in. I see lots of white spots here, so I'm going to go back and fill that in. Now the eyeballs, I know they're close to that color. I'm going to just make it a little bit darker. And then what I'm going to do before I do my last thing is I'm going to take this black and I'm just going to go around and hide all my pencil lines. So if you're doing markers, you'll take a black marker. If you're doing oil pastels, you'll use an oil pastel. But it's always going to be the same color. It's always going to be that black that you're going to use. And you're just going to outline or kind of cover up those pencil lines. So really do go slow in this. Make sure you're really following those pencil lines because you don't want to go sloppy and still see those pencil lines. We're trying to clean it up here and make it look nice and neat. Okay, so there is my shell. Now I'm going to do the same for my flippers. I'm going to make my eyes there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of texture on the fins. Now I can use a black, or I could make it a lot of fun and pick a different color. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of make some texture. So on the fins, you kind of see this texture. And these are just kind of like U's. I'm kind of making a candy cane for the first one, and I'm just kind of making little scales or texture on it. Kind of has this kind of cracky skin. So now I've got my bubbles in the background, I've got my sea turtle. Now I can choose how I want to finish this off. I can add paint back here and do a wash if I'd like, or I can just color it in with different oil pastels, and when they overlap, change the color. So I could do like this one with this blue, and then maybe even a white there, and then my teal blue, maybe even a green, and then the background another color. So it's totally up to you how you want to do this. I think I'm just going to do a wash. So I'm going to take my blue, and I'm going to do a kind of a wash around. I may go around my bubbles though. I may paint those different colors because I think it would look cool. So I'm just going to paint my background blue. I'm going to use some watercolor. and some different blues and greens. And I'm just gonna add some different color blues in here. So this one's gonna be a little bit darker. All right, so there is my sea turtle. I hope you have fun with this one. And again, you can make it how you want to make it, but this is my example. You can always tweak it and turn it into more of your own. All right, have fun.